Hey, it's Nat, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. First up in this little video today, I wanted to say a big thank you and give all my gratitude to all the people who sent me lots of love and well wishes for the Women in Wellness Leadership gathering and the event yesterday. I really appreciate all of your love and support and your checking in, and for those of you who wanted to be there but couldn't, just you sending your love and being a part of the whole thing. That was really beautiful. And for all of you who are just a part of my world full stop, whether it be through She Lives the Life She Loves or Women in Wellness Leadership or my Facebook or Wellness Leadership Academy or wherever else I'm connected with you from. Big thank yous from me and lots of gratitude and lots of love for being a part of my world. The other thing that I wanted to do this video about this week, there was a theme that came up on the weekend when I was in Sydney that was about saying yes to what we really want and really taking a stand for what we really want, right? And I realized that there's a little bit of that energy that I needed to bring back to my community and my world, because there's some aspects where, there was a hangover of bits in my world where I haven't. There's been times when I haven't, stood for what I really want and the development of certain parts of my vision at certain times, or things like that I wondered if then fell into maybe there's an energy that maybe I need to shine a big spotlight on in my community, because this thing happens that people will hide in your shadow. So if you don't call out your own shadow, then they'll hide in your shadow. So I wanted to shine this big spotlight on what's been kind of happening. And it's not just, I've been talking to other coaches in just in the course of life this week. And before, I haven't said like what's going on in my world. They've said that there's stuff going on in their world, that there's like, everybody's seeing self-sabotage coming up this week. And then I've gone, oh God, really? Me too? Like we just all seem to be watching like this thing about self-sabotage coming up this week. And people who we know you're committed, we know your vision, we know what you want, and there's this running away from it. There's reasons that are being given and excuses that are being given when there's opportunities for you to get support with that or take a step up with that. We've watched people take a step back instead, right? So I kind of wanted to just speak into that this week as well. And what's going on there? What's really going on that we're not saying yes to what we're really most passionate about and our visions and what we really want in that respect, right? Because there's a lot of people in my world who are wanting to step into their own businesses full time, right? Which means that there's this transition phase and there's this juggling that has to go on, and this negotiation of competing priorities and competing people's needs and all of that, which has to be worked out in the process of you stepping into your own business full time and starting to treat your own business like the beautiful baby that it is, because it is. It's your creation, right? It's your beautiful baby. There's a level where we need to take a stand for our business and what we believe in, right? Which sometimes means that there's going to be a period of, there's not always conflict, but it can potentially be things that conflict in our external world, because we have to be able to stand in that space where we have to speak to what we need. We have to say, this is what I want now. This is what I need now. This is what my vision needs now. This is what I can give you right now. What can you give me back, or how does that fit with you? And there's all these things that have to be negotiated, right? For us to, for any number of responsibilities, for us to be able to make more room in our world for our growing baby, our growing business. There's things that have to be negotiated with partners, sometimes with children, depending on the age of the children, but sometimes it's the care of children and the times at which you're doing that. Of course, I know that there's times where we can't just like, when a kid's sick, you've got to be there, right? But there's other times in which, do you remember the movie with, what's her name? Not The Graduate, The Recruit. Was it The Recruit? The one with Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro. And she's trying to navigate her business role and taking care of her beautiful daughter, and her partner's being a stay-at-home dad. And she's part of her challenge is she's trying to work out her whole tension and how crap she feels about trying to be there for her daughter, but then also handing care to other people to look after her daughter at times. I'm not talking about that it's ever necessarily or has to be that extreme for you, but I'm just saying that there's a certain thing that when we decide that we're going to go after what we really want in business, there comes a point where you actually have to take a stand for holding space for your business, right? And holding space for your baby. And then we have to have some awkward conversations with the world, with employers, with whoever it happens to be, to try and make space for that to, for our vision to grow in our world, right? And maybe a transition plan for us to slowly move more and more into our own thing over time. So I just feel like I'd been seeing a lot of that this week, that there's just, I feel like a lot of people are like, sometimes their competing priorities are maybe winning a little bit. And so this is why I'm calling it this week, right? And saying, I love you. I know that there's stuff going on in your world, but like, are you taking a stand for your business at the same time and what you need? And what else might you be able to do to help create that space and create more room for your business? Because support is actually always available. If there's one thing over the last year particularly, and in a lot of years past, that I've seen right in the moments where I really, really needed it, when I really put my trust in the universe, life showed up and support was there right when I needed it most. And I didn't fall on my butt, and I didn't end up homeless, or I didn't end up wherever I didn't want to be, right? There was a way. Life made a way, but I had to be open to seeing what it was. And if I got too in the fear and freaked out, I could trip myself up in kind of realizing what was trying to come to me. Yeah. And then I could block it and block the flow of everything that was trying to unfold in my business and was trying to unfold in my life around me. So this can happen, right? And it's not always easy, and it's not always going to be easy. But this is part of what we were also talking about on the weekend, what the guys were talking about on the weekend, and what I'm bringing back too, is this is where you bring it back to your why. And why do you do all this? And why are you passionate about, your vision and what you want to create in the world? That doesn't have to necessarily be the big Miss America big thing of I want world peace, right? Sometimes that can be, it's maybe the simple things. Like for me, sometimes it's I want to go supping or surfing, or I want to go spend more time at the beach, or I would like to eat yummy food today, or I would like to have the capacity to, buy much bigger things than I buy for my friends or people that I love, right? And in my long-term vision, like one day I would like to have a foundation where if any of my women friends ever get in trouble and they're leaving a relationship in a hurry, or they get sick or something like that, I'd like to have big sums of money to be able to support them and love them and maybe even help them achieve a little goal or a dream, right? I've done this for friends before at times, and I really love that I can do that. And then I would like to be able to, on a much bigger scale, for a lot of the women that I see who are here to do amazing work in the world as wellness professionals and service-based professionals. Like, I would love to one day be able to actually just have a program where, you apply kind of like, a case management program or something like that, and I can give you like a package, and maybe you can buy some support from me or someone on my team or something like that, yeah? And I can help them get through those moments and get on to creating what they really want to create and achieve in life, with their business next, with their life purpose next, with creating the relationships and the quality of life that they would like to have next, and with their healing towards that, yeah? So, that's a big part of one of my bits of why. And, maybe I'll give you a little bit more information on the background of my why as well, right? Because for the She Lives a Life She Loves vision, part of where that evolved from was, part of this literally came for me when I was 9 years old, which when I was 9 years old, unfortunately, my mother had actually died of leukemia 2 days earlier. Yeah. And so there was this point when I was standing there on my 9th birthday, and I had this download all of a sudden where I just heard this voice in my head, and this voice in my head was telling me, Natalie, so we get that you're really sad right now, and who wouldn't be? Like, of course, right? But you have this choice now. A lot of people would go forward in your situation and they might continue to be really sad, and they might almost die with your mum, because it's like they're there but they're not there anymore, right? So you could do that, or you can choose from this point onwards, you can choose to love life, to choose life to the fullest, and to do your best to create a life that you love and love everyone the best that you possibly can for the rest of your life, right? So I kind of stood there at 9 years old and I was like, I think I want to choose the life I love, live the life I love, and live life to the fullest option, yeah? So I wanted to do that. Unfortunately, at times, I'm not going to say unfortunately all the time, because I have had so many incredible experiences since that I'm so over the moon grateful for. You know, I've lived all like 5 of my projected career-tested careers by the age of 35. And, you know, there's tons of beautiful experiences and amazing people I've shared life with that I'm so grateful. And this is, you know, why I kind of feel very at home, like talking about she lives the life she loves. But I also know from that moment, because I actually didn't get to say goodbye to my mum either. It was like 5 minutes after she'd gone 5 minutes before we got there. So this was this hard thing for me, because I realized the absolute preciousness of every single minute that we spend with people in that moment too, right? And the quality of, you know, goodbyes are really important to me, and hellos are really important to me. And the value of every moment is really important to me, because, you know, I really understand that thing of we might not have another moment, and you might not have another moment with that person. You don't want to live your life like you're dying, but you kind of do want to live it with the mentality that, you know, make the most of every moment, right? So this is a big part of how that started for me very early on, was that love of life started to come in. And that kind of evolved in my 20s. I had a bit of a breakdown, and that kind of eventually put me on the helping path, and the deciding that, you know, I wanted to make something of some of the things that had happened to me younger in life. So I decided I wanted to train as a counsellor, and I wanted to give something back to people who'd also been through grief and loss and hardship, which led to eventually me working in the community services. And again, I lived my mother's legacy a little bit, in that she was a social worker and a case manager, and you know, I did the hard yards for a bit in working with some tremendous trauma and poverty and disadvantaged circumstances and disability and drug and alcohol stuff, and, you know, I did the depths of the intensity there for a bit. And when I started my private practice, like, it was not quite that same level. I was doing more admin and practice management by then, and I kind of did this backwards journey of doing that and then building my practice at the same time, whereas most people build their practice and then build up to the management level. I kind of did it sort of backwards like that. And my practice when I was counselling and doing energy work was around stress and anxiety and relationships and intimacy is what I fell into, because that's what life brought to me. And there was still trauma stuff and some of the depths and the healing underneath that. And to some extent, I was doing that at that time as well. But then there came a point where I kind of started to realize that my approach was very, number one, I was mentoring a little bit, but then I had this very solution-focused approach that was coaching, essentially, that wanted to come through. And then I wanted to be able to evolve with my clients on that. So then I put out there to become a coach. And one of my existing colleagues today, in Marcus, kind of appeared throughout that period, and I called him back during that period. And then I began the coaching phase, because, you know, I came to him saying, I really want to, at this point, be able to help women go beyond the trauma and the hard stuff that they've been through in life. And I want them to be empowered to create businesses that they love in the helping professions. I want them to have relationships that they love, and I want them to have an amazing quality of life and have financial freedom and be able to live large, right? And have a life on their terms and be empowered to do that. So I went to him with that, and there's a lot of compatibility with, me and Wellness Leadership Academy in that respect, which is why I've spent a lot of time with them and some of my past colleagues, and other people within that as well. And it's everywhere that I practice manage has had that in common as well. And my beautiful female mentors, when I had Anna and Gianamala, they certainly developed another part of me that I was coming into, the healing, coming through the healing and coming through another level from the more feminine perspective of wanting to help women come into that power, right? But then it's like the level changed because we were playing in terms of that business, we were playing a level at one level, and then so there was like my beautiful feminine fulfilled part, and that was coming through, and then this ambitious other part of me was like, but I kind of want to take it to the next level as well, because I wanted to be able to create a bit more abundance and more money, and I just felt like there was this pull in that direction as well. So it's changed now that not only do I have the Women in Wellness Leadership community, which has become an extension, and I was working with, I think Andy and I were originally talking about, Andy was saying, you should be working with women leaders more too. You should create a group for that. And Women in Wellness Leadership was kind of like the realization of my vision of, having a space to kind of do that. But what was I going to say attached to that as well? Also just, it's gone from a reality now where one time I had a lot of guilt and shame about, the money side of things, right? Because we have a lot of judgment around being abundant and how to have money as women, and we have a lot of wounding around the trauma that goes with how money was made, right? But I really wanted to clear that and be able to come to a healthy place where, you hear me talking about my foundation, right? I want to get my hands on more resources so as I can do good stuff with it, yeah? So this is a part of my why, and then there's been this evolution, and I keep progressing from, I was playing a level of a six-figure game there at one point. Now I'm playing a game where on the weekend, in collaboration with my colleagues, I helped get 44 people in a room, and I'm in a level where we can make 150,000 in a completely integral, heartfelt, soulful way in the space of a weekend, when that used to take a year, right? So I'm going to stop being ashamed of saying that, because there's actually some part of I need to stand for this for women, for our capacity to do this, and stop being like shaming myself that I'm a part of that world, because I'm actually proud to be a part of that world, and I want to clear some of the guilt and shame for women around that as well, which is the only reason I kind of mentioned it. But yeah, so this is all a big part of my why, right? That's my why for me. So that keeps me going and has kept me going through moments where, there's been business breakups, or through some of the transition period where I was transitioning out of full-time employment and first into completely self-employment, right? And the wobbles and the hiccups that have gone with that, because that's been a roller coaster. But, as it stands now, a lot of the things, the clients, the people that I work with, it's all invoiced through my business. Nobody's employing me at this point. So there's the evolution of that. But yeah, that's a big part of my why, right? So, and that keeps me going through those moments. So this is part of, again, what I wanted to talk to you about is if you're in a place right now where you have challenges that you need to overcome to commit more time and resources to your business baby and to creating the kind of relationships and the quality of life that you want, can one of the things that will help you in backing that space be to remind yourself of that why on a regular basis, on a daily basis, yeah? And remind yourself that, so as you can then hold that and kind of back yourself when you're like, okay, so I need to have this awkward conversation, or I need to do this thing. So you have that in the back of your mind for front and center and foremost, so as it helps you own that truth and ground that going forward, and create more room for that going forward, right? Because that's really, really important. What else was I going to mention to you today? There was a couple of things that were really important that I mentioned that I did in my first video, but now I'm playing catch up now that we're doing video number 2 for the day. So your why. Your why as well. So I wanted to know your why. And for some of you who've been in my community for quite a while now, or you've known my work now, or you've been around for a while now, I wanted to ask you too, because for some of you this doesn't apply to, because we have beautiful connections and, you know, no matter what happens, one day, doesn't matter what 5 years goes past or 5 days goes past or 10 years goes past, if I'm in your area, I will send you people and you will send me people, and we love each other. Even if we're not doing each other's programs, we're still a part of each other's support structure, right? So this bit isn't necessarily for you, but I just wanted to say thank you for you again. But this bit I'm thinking about for the people who are around in my community at the moment and have been in my sphere for a long time. And I'm thinking about your why, but I'm also thinking about your why you're here, right? Because there's obviously this soul pull to something that you need, and there's something that you want from me, yeah? And I really love, you could probably tell from, if you've seen any of my videos, you'll be able to tell that I love doing videos, and I love giving you content about business, about personal development, whatever's inspiring me that day. I love sharing it with you so as you can get some benefit out of that too, right? But the thing is that concerns me, and this is what I want to take a stand for too at the moment, particularly in a week where I found for an event, I got a lot of cancellations and no-shows without explanation, and something was up and going on, right? What I want to know, what I'm saying to you is that there's a potential that can come when we actually commit time and energy and resources to doing some deeper work that just doesn't come when I'm trying to do lives for you, or that doesn't come when I'm trying to do videos for you, right? But it will come in a group program scenario, or it will come in a one-on-one format. And us honoring that agreement that we have together, right? Us honoring that space, and again saying yes to that despite whatever comes up in life, despite whatever sabotage or whatever else comes up to try and pull our focus. If we have an agreement to do that work together, then I want to be able to support that space for us to come together to do that, right? So the other thing that I wanted to put out a call for today is for those of you who are absolutely in a state of, yes, I'm ready to commit to more of what I want in my business and my life, and commit to more of the life I love in general, who are an emphatic yes about I want to make more room in my life for my yes. There's 2 things that I want to tell you about, and one of them was I wanted to let you know, because you know that I offer business coaching, right? So I want to stick a figure in your head for some of you to pre-plan for this, right? I want to see this now, and you can think about how you're going to make this happen, how you're going to make this happen over the next 12 months. Notice my language around this, how you're going to make it happen, because if you want to put something out there, you've got to ask, how is it going to happen? And then the answers will come to you. Put this number in your head, 3750. To work with me one-on-one as a business coach for either 90 days or 6 months, that's what you need. And we can do that on a payment plan, and we can work that out, right? So I just want to seed that in there, right? The other thing that is more immediately coming up, which might be of benefit to you right now, on the 10th of July, I am actually starting a group program which is called 30 Days to the Life I Love. And it is in every way a 30-day program which is all about saying yes to what you love, and saying yes to making more room for that in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your personal life. So as some of you will know, 21 days is like, if you want to change something, you've got to do something for 21 days straight to start to integrate a new habit, right? So literally, this is about tasks that some of them are self-love tasks, some of them are sensory tasks, some of them are just about taking action on going after things that you love. But there's 30 days worth of tasks where you have to do at least one task, simple, easy tasks, most of them, that only take about 5 minutes of your time, if that, maybe 10 minutes max, some days even less than that. But they're to ground this space into your world where you're saying yes to love, where you're saying yes to more of what you love. They give you little ways to do that, right? The whole way through. And in addition to that, we have themes every week that we work through, which again are all about helping you to hold space for more of saying yes to what you want and negotiating room for that in your life and in your business particularly, and your relationships. It's all about building your confidence in saying yes to that, to making more room for what you want and what you love, yeah? And there's also, in this particular one for you, I'm going to put in some group webinars as well. So as each week, we'll talk about the theme of that particular week, but whatever's coming up for you in that particular week, then you also get a chance to talk about that topic, and we can talk about what progress you're making towards that, but then where you're stuck, we can also talk about and workshop you through how to get unstuck. Right? So as you get to be more of your yes and live into more of what you love. And for long enough that it grounds permanently into your world and narrows the gap between all these things that you're manifesting and bringing in, right? And calling in, it just like narrows the gap between them. So you connect. And then you're living more of it. And you go, holy hell, it's been 30 days and I'm actually living more of this, right? So if this sounds like something that could actually be really beneficial to you right now, feel free to, I'm going to pop a link below that you can book a time with me, but I would also encourage you to just send me a private message if you would like to, or if you have a question as well, or comment below and just let me know that you'd really, yes, love that support and love to access that support. So as we can make this something, right? Because I know that you can get so much more out of doing it this way. I know you can. And I know that you deserve it. I know it's probably more than time for you to step up in your world and receive this degree of love and this degree of joy doing what you love and all the beautiful gifts and flow on that will come from that. I think it's time. But only you can say it's time. So if you're ready to say it's time, then let me know that you're here. Reach out and I will be there for you and let's make this happen. Yeah? So that's it pretty much for me today, lovelies. I hope there's been a bit of gold in here for you. Feel free to comment below or share with me any thoughts or breakthroughs or insights that you've had out of this, or light bulb moments. Would love to hear. And I look forward to chatting more soon. Until next we speak, I'm Nat Ferrier, Women's Leadership Expert, creator of the She Lives Life She Loves program and the Women in Wellness Leadership community. Have fun. Take care. Cheers. Bye.